Nothing. It's just for a quality improvement, so it's just fine. Don't worry about it. Phoenix will just fix it. It should be fixed now, so. Yes, it's fine.
That's correct, it's fine. We can go back with, like, even...
I think we're ready, so.
Okay, so as we see here, Safar has the removal spells to deal with the current board, but the Thundering Carousel plus Dairy could provide some additional threats after this first partial effect.
Yeah, here we see, I guess, looks like Eclipser had drawn another Dairy, so we see the increased cost for end of the story as well. But we see a harsh rule as well drawn, so it's gonna be tough for Eclipser. Probably likely here just gonna oh, they're gonna play Dairy to pop the Aegis? I thought they should have maybe just played the Thundering Carousel since they will get to draw a card.
Playing the Thundering Carousel would result in Safar having a really decent harsh rule turn. Following that up, I respect the Dairy choice.
Yep, definitely just some different lines that Eclipser can take. We'll see how they pan out. I'm not familiar with the Dinos versus Chalice matchup.
And the obelisk gets broken.
Yeah, we finally see the passage come down. So, and then, yeah, Desert Marshal on Carousel. And Harshal's just going to clean up all this stuff. Or the end of the story as well.
After you upgrade the Desert Marshal.
Yes. Or, oh, no, Eclipser's, or Savar's fine with just vanquishing here.
That's reasonable at this point. Safar has serviceable blockers for both of the units Eclipser has in play, and over time can just build up the board more and maybe start to have the advantage at this point. Safar taking the trade of 4/4s rather than the just bounce. And then Eclipser plays Hailstorm, which kills a number of Safar's units, and Safar is still choosing to put out the camel rather than putting out the lights on this board.
Safar loves the camels, it seems. Or he just loves making sure to get Chalice value every turn.
I suppose that's one of those things that you generally want to do in the Chalice deck.
I don't understand this attack. It only pushes 2 damage and you just throw away a unit, but Eclipser is very far behind. So
Eclipser knows at this point that leaving those units in play for a little while is also throwing them away.
yeah, it all comes out the same in the wash. So
yeah, this game is functionally over, honestly. It's going to be very hard, if not impossible, for Eclipser to be able to build up enough of a threatening attack that Safar doesn't just have a harsh rule for. Still,
yeah,
not harsh ruling.
I mean, I can block everything else. So, and Eclipser's deck does not have any kind of reach, such as like a burn spell or something like, or a way to go over the top. So now Eclipser's taking the conservative attack and not attacking with the Amber Acolyte, which seems odd.
If you're going to take a conservative attack there, why attack at all?
Right. So yeah, here we see so far just the chalice things.
The 315 Aurelian Merchant, though, stonewalls everything Eclipser has access to, so Equivocate's going to be his way to deal with it, and that's going to turn it into Steel itself, because there was a Aegis for Safar, and Eclipser recognizes that and is like, this is the end.
Yep. That was the last match as well. So we'll take a brief break and be back for round 3 shortly.
Goodbye, everybody. And all this time, scientists thought that the Ice Age or the giant comet were some of the possible reasons for the death of the dinosaurs. Turns out it was a bunch of camels in one magical cup.
Cygnus traveling back to our other match, but it looks like this round we're going to see Eclipser again on their Elysian dinosaurs versus Houdini with Combre aggro. Looks maybe more of a weapon version as well. I see Vanquisher's Blades and Arc Record Keepers
It's a
and Crown Watch
very
Paladins, no Alessi's.
it's interesting how just as heavy this deck seems when it's also running teachers.
Yep. That probably explains why Houdini has the 12 dual influence power and 4 Diplo seals, just to try to play Teacher of Humility as well.
As well as possible.
Feels potentially ambitious, especially when they have Coastal Battle Mage and Valkyrie Enforcer and Vanquisher's Blades as like kind of early things to cast. I think Vanquisher's Blade is double. I could be wrong. Looks like players are close to getting ready here. Who do you think is favored in this matchup, Cygnus?
Well, it probably depends on if Houdini's able to get off to a fast start to out aggro Eclipser, because I think Eclipser has the better late game with these big dinosaurs.
Yeah, and here Houdini does have a pretty aggressive start here. So Eclipser's hand looks like I have like a Trail Maker, a Twilight Hunt, some power,
Aurelian
and
Merchant
some
and
other time
Invisaur
card.
Patriarch is
I
the
see.
two cards that players can currently not see.
So I would imagine Houdini keeps their hand. The Lively
And
producer lets them know
Eclipser
that they may begin.
and Eclipser's hand is also a keep.
So we should be off for the races shortly.
As we are. Houdini's deliberating over whether Crownwatch Standard is going to show up now depleted or if there's going to be a turn 2 teacher in Eclipser's life. Seems like it's going to be teacher. But how worried of that even is Eclipser? Not at all with that permafrost draw. I
Yep,
was
and not
thinking,
likely they have Merchant as well, so.
yeah, oh, Aurelian Merchant's a good blocker anyway. And permafrost as well. Well, that works even better. Now to the market, where the options are Twilight Hunt, Disjunction, Equivocate, Xenon Obelisk, and the Carnosaur, which was picked up. Wait,
Yes. Did you discover something? They just played a Merchant and got the Carnosaur, swapping the Amber Waystone.
oh yes, of course. I was thinking about a different player who had been the Xenon player. I was thinking about the dinosaurs in the market and was confused as to why there weren't dinosaurs, twin bird sauropods in particular, in the market.
I
That's
see.
my bad.
The time decks are different, Cygnus, whether you like to think so or not.
I'm not time racist, I promised.
Mm-hmm.
This time deck seems to be working here, though.
Yep, I mean, all the ramp is let Cygnus kind of get ahead of the more aggressive opponent. So we'll likely see either Carnosaur or Karasaur come down, so.
I've gotten ahead of which one of them's my opponent. You definitely said Cygnus, not Eclipser.
Ah, Eclipser's opponent. Yeah,
And
this
that
record
record
keeper getting
keeper.
all kinds of value.
Oh yeah, put that +1/+1 on the permafrosted unit.
There are Valkyrie Enforcers in the deck, but Houdini likely going to need to vanquish this Carnosaur.
It does not seem like this is going to be a game where Houdini has time to go get those Valkyrie Enforcers.
To draw them. Yes.
Yeah. Especially with that Ivzar Patriarch that still could ultimate, which would right now buff itself up and the Predatory Carnosaur up to a 8/8.
Yeah, but I think the Carnosaur is going to get vanquished here, and Houdini probably deciding if they want to play a Merchant or the Crown Watch Paladin.
It kind of has to get vanquished, otherwise Houdini's facing down lethal damage, barring blockers.
Yeah.
With that undepleted power, it looks like it is going to be the Merchant this turn, alongside Vanquish. Now, what's Houdini getting out of the market?
They have a myriad of options, I believe. See a Vanquish, a Vanquisher's Blade, Stand Together, Sword of Unity, and a Banner. So all of these cards kind of do similar things, which
A myriad of options.
basically
Vanquish, a
two and a
weapon
half.
that Vanquish, a weapon that plays Vanquish. Stand Together, a weapon that plays Stand Together, and a banner which has now become a fast spell because
Yeah, it's like
oh, not banner.
3.74 options.
Yeah, if it's a banner, it remains power. But yeah, this attack here from Eclipser, it's not actually for very much. We see Houdini wanting to keep the Winchest Merchant in play so that the Spellcraft of Vanquisher's Blade killing Thundering Carousar is an option. Still results in Eclipser drawing a card, though. Just a Primal Sigil, nothing huge. But Eclipser gets to kill off the Winchest Merchant and attack in for 6, which is putting Houdini down to 4. And let's see now. Houdini's play would be Valk Enforcer, silence the silence his own unit to have a second blocker. Okay, okay. And then Houdini has access to Crown Watch tactic this turn to make something bigger, but Equivocate is gonna bounce the teacher to hand to become the student. There's got to be some sort of
The student has become the
morale there.
master.
The master has become the student. Suddenly, the teacher is the student.
It's like we're in a movie.
A movie where Eclipser wins Game 1 versus Houdini.
It's not a bad movie for Eclipser.
No, I think fans of ECL casters would appreciate this outcome.
Yeah, Eclipser has jumped on and been a new caster for us. Still trying to grind out their invitational points, which they should know the first rule of casting is once you start casting, you're washed up by definition.
Yeah. That's why it seems like Bassoon Buffoon's given up on the Invitational. Washed up.
I think Bassoon also said they have to play their Bassoon that day.
Uh,
It's not just a online personality. They actually do play Bassoon.
What a buffoon.
Yeah. Who would use their real life to describe themselves on the internet? You gotta make up everything about you.
Wait, are you trying to imply that you're not even The Rock?
That's called misdirection. I can't confirm or deny. But have you ever seen us in the same place at the same time?
I mean, I've never seen either of you.
Well, there you go.
I suppose being unable to see you is a big part of being The Rock.
Right, but players are back in game now, looks like, so. Both players have their important 2 drops.
I feel like the one that ramps is favored here, especially as Eclipser has a bevy of ways to prevent that teacher from ever connecting.
Yep. And just having the ramp unit while you're on the play is huge.
By the way, Eclipser does not seem to be having issues with the quad primal or quad time to be playing Thunder and Karasaur.
That's true. I mean, the Trailmaker helps with that consistency a lot, so. As does Amber Acolyte. They do lose out on this monument if they wanted to go to 4 time, so they've decided not to.
I agree with turning the monument into a Rhynarch. That's a good play this turn. Something that can pick up some buffs from Xenon Obelisk and become a really significant charging, well, overwhelming threat.
Yes, because as we know, this dairy is only going to be an 04.
Forever.
Maybe one day it'll get bigger.
With the help of Xenon Obelisk.
We see a Dune Phantom come down. It's a great blocker against most of the dinos.
Until they get bigger, which they definitely do in Eclipser's deck. Or if they're Predatory Carnosaur or Thundering Karasaur, that even World Bear Behemoth are already too
So
big.
there's a couple.
What I'm trying to say is Dune Phantom is pretty bad.
I mean,
The one good thing is that it wears weapons decently well.
it blocks half or 3/4 of Eclipser's units currently. Now it blocks all of them.
One of them can't even attack.
My point still stands.
And both the teacher and the coastal battle mage are also perfectly fine blockers for the other two. Looks like Houdini's in the tank for this turn, as an attack with the battle mage while holding up Crown Notch tactic may be the opportune choice.
Eclipser could have put all their units into that to block, but
But you can't be too sure what is going on over there for Houdini, and putting all your blockers there would still result in a lot of death.
yes. Well, they also know that Houdini has Finest Hours and Crown Watch tactics, so it's a lot of different pumps to play around.
Wow, a +3/+3 pump and a +3/+3 pump.
Well, I meant the frequency that they occur in Houdini's deck.
Okay, fair enough.
Because if it was just only Crown Watch tactic, it's a little more reasonable you can try to block there.
I don't agree with using this Dune Phantom as a blocker there. I would have been totally happy to trade off the Crown Watch tactic for the 5/5.
Yep. Also, Houdini could have been playing around Eclipser's fast spells like Equivocate. I think they've cast one this game already, and I don't know how much attention Houdini's been paying to pauses. So that's one big thing in Eternal is it's really hard to bluff after the first bluff
Because
since
of
pauses. Yeah, the
pauses. Yeah.
pauses occur only if the other player actually has an effect or a spell they can play. So
On the plus side, it keeps the game moving at a pretty good pace, meaning that you're not sitting there waiting for a minute or two for someone to allow an attack to happen that they can't do anything about.
yeah, it does speed up pace of play, especially for like ladder and things. Game is still also designed to be played mobilely, so
Now the sword arrives.
oh, I'm not gonna get in there with the 1/7.
It's a good blocker.
Oh, now you think it's a good blocker. Seems like you're changing his mind. It's not allowed. Once you state something, you can't change your opinion.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly not how anything works, and
That's how
that
politics
people
work.
should be encouraged to and
You're just a flip flopper.
applauded for changing their mind
Yeah, we've
when
got a flip flopper.
when given contrary evidence.
Nope. Opinions are not allowed to change ever. At least that's what politics has taught me.
Also, my opinion changed in a decent part due to the Dune Phantom becoming larger.
Fair
Also,
enough.
it's a lethal threat on this attack
It
with
is.
the help of our good friend Crownwatch Tactic. So, players are now 1-1. We're going to get to see a final game to decide the winner of this match.
Yeah, these have been some real back and forth games, so we'll see if the third one delivers.
If we look at league points, Houdini probably doesn't need the win as much as Eclipser does.
Yeah, Eclipser definitely needs to pick up a win here.
Houdini is up at 17 points, which I believe is probably going to be safe at this point.
Yeah, since we have basically this round, next round, and 1 point for tomorrow. There is also the participation point for today that has not been calculated, so only 4 points are missing from possible standings this week, the rest of this week, so I would assume 17 is safe. Everyone else is potentially on the bubble. So since 13 is a little dicey as well, but yeah, players sitting at the bottom now. Numbers and Eclipse are both playing today, trying to fight to stay alive or to fight their way in. But looks like we are back for the game now here. Houdini again has a turn 2 teacher, but no third power or justice influence yet.
Yeah, names that are not around here that are on the bubble include Solar Flare at 13 points, Mulligan at 11, Bassoon Buffoon at 10, who won't be available due to having to go play his Bassoon. What a buffoon. Crack Variety also at 10, Prometheus at 9, Flippy Flop at 8, Alpha at 6, and various other players down at 6 and beyond that are going to have a tough time making it into the Invitational.
Yep. Houdini found their justice source, so they can continue to actually function in this game. Clips are going ahead and just play the 0-4 to block. But now they know this teacher is going to connect, unless Eclipser wants to just throw away their unit for this finest hour.
If I'm Eclipser, I'm willing to block with Derry and trade her with a Finest Hour. And
Looks like
look at
Houdini's
that.
not going to take that line.
Houdini just plays Auric Record Keeper instead. Now Eclipser can Hailstorm or equivocate the Record Keeper and keep Derry as a blocker.
Yep, and here we see Trailmaker making perfect power for Eclipser.
And Hailstorm feels a lot less good now because that Trailmaker is in play. One of those weird choices, running Hailstorms in a deck that has a lot of 2/1s and a number of them providing you power.
Well, it's only really bad with Trailmaker. Acolyte draws you a power, so you're not down a card really. You're down a
Also,
body,
can
but
also can we talk about what that Equivocate hit?
I was wondering when you get. This is one of your pet cards you've been playing a bunch in Charge Rod decks. It's a Marin
Stinger.
Stinger. Okay.
She fits into Charge Rod decks and into Scream decks, in my personal opinion. So
Yep, you get it to connect and then give your opponent some traps.
yes, 3 Scorpion traps somewhere in the top 20 cards of the deck. Now, top 20 is definitely worse than top 10. That much
Math, good.
is mathematically provable. But the Scorpion traps are like fire bombs, except the Destiny spell plays out a 1/1 deadly Scorpion rather than
Yeah. Interesting.
a fire bomb.
Eclipser chose to 3 for 3 themselves to clear the board. They used Equivocate plus Hailstorm and lost their Trailmaker.
I feel like I'm I'm coming to the conclusion that this isn't as much the right meta for her. Now, this particular match seems good for her because Eclipser's units don't have flying. I'd say in general the meta seems to be rather flying centric. Looking at you, Ikari X, and Huru Flyers decks, and there's quite a few different Flyers decks out there right now.
You have seen a lot of players working on some different flyer decks for weekly events, invitationals. So I know everyone's starting to gear up for those.
You mean like the Eternal Community League Invitational that will be happening this Sunday?
Yes. This attack is interesting. I guess both your units do trade with or do kill the World Bearer because of the finest hour that Eclipser knows about. So imagine
At
we
this point,
see Valk Enforcer come down and silence World Bearer.
that does seem like a
Maybe
good play.
maybe the Dairy because you can activate and it can become a 4/4 now or a
Eclipser does
3/4.
have 3 spells in the Void, the 2 Equivocates and the Hailstorm.
Yep. So
She would become a 4/4.
I think that's what Houdini is debating here. They go with the Merchant though. Gonna guess to get a Vanquish of some variety. Unfortunately, getting rid of the Stinger.
Yeah, we'll never get to see that Alliance Stinger connect, but I mean, it doesn't work that well against overwhelming units anyway, I suppose.
True. And yeah, if Houdini plays his Vanquish now, Eclipser is gonna get to draw a card. So might have to change their line to play. Oh, okay. So they still go for it here.
You're still killing an 8/8 Overwhelmer. I think the card draw is acceptable.
I mean, they could play an Enforcer to get rid of the ability and the Overwhelm, and then you can set up blocks to block the World Bear or the Karasaur. So
But it looks like Houdini wants to race. And Eclipser now knows that there's not a 1-cost fast spell in Houdini's hand.
Well, Eclipser knows that the finest hour costs 2 from the dairy.
Ah, yes, of course. That was seen by Derry. I was, for some reason, thinking that was brought up to more by
Or by a
disciplinary
teacher.
weights, even though there haven't been any disciplinary weights and Eclipser's not running teachers.
No, unfortunately, teachers didn't decide to come to school today, so.
I'd say they did, but only to Houdini's school of hard knocks.
Yeah. They didn't get to put any weight. Didn't get to discipline anybody, though. So we'll see if Eclipser makes the right. Eclipser can double block the record keeper is fine. You only lose World Bearer, so.
You only lose one of your 6-7 overwhelming threats.
I mean, the other line is to jump block, which I guess is okay if if Eclipser thinks they can win this race.
I mean, at this point, an attack with 2 6-7 overwhelmers would not be winning the race. So, yeah, we see that that's not the line that Houdini takes, the racing line. Instead, we're going to see a line that involves 2 dairies. Well, this
Ooh, Amber
world,
Waystone is a decent pickup since that removes A+3/+3 pump spell as lethal this turn. So
yes, actually, a very, very valuable pickup off of that World Bear Behemoth.
here I think it's Houdini's just gonna play the 2 Valk Enforcers and attack with at least the 2 flyers. So you leave one of the dairies as an 0-4, silence the World Bearer as well. Then you have some decent chump blocks and hope to win with a top deck. Seems like the most reasonable line to me.
Yeah, at this point, the win con is the Flyers, and the lose con is the Overwhelmers. If you're Houdini.
I'm just gonna choose to silence the already 4-4. I guess it's the same as the other one, if you just make them spend power to activate dairy.
Yeah, there's no real difference. I definitely suspect this other silence will be going on the World Bear Behemoth, not the other dairy.
Well, this way you remove the overwhelm and the pump, so.
I mean, there's still a World Bear Behemoth attacking this turn.
Eclipser plays their Carousel before attacks, which is a mistake. Just you at least want to be able to bluff that you have a trick and make Houdini block with more units than they need to. But we're gonna see that as long as Houdini just doesn't take lethal damage, they will
Houdini
win.
has a win on the crackback. So congratulations to Houdini for taking this match over Eclipser. And I believe this was a pair down, meaning Houdini moves on to X and O. Even though Eclipser
It was a pair down, so and now
had
we have
not
one more match left. We will jump into momentarily.
Oh,
See what the match
it's
count is for the players.
wait. You're trying to tell me that Safar, who is running Chalice,
So you can just go see what the
has
game count
matches.
is.
Cross isn't in game.
Oh, I have an update for Eternal. That's great.
Okay, they're in game now. It seems.
Okay. Right. Yeah, just tell us while Phoenix is setting up so we would know what's going on. But yeah, we're back in here with the last round, the last match of this round. It's gonna be Cross versus Safar.
Cross is on a, as he calls it, Huru Aegis deck. And it sounds like we're catching the start of game 3. Players are 1-1, and this win is going to leave one of them at 3-0 to fight off Houdini
Very nice.
for tonight's crown.
Not for
This,
the throne.
I mean, maybe the throne. Now we see that Cross is on what amounts to a unit-based harsh rule deck, which is one of those concepts that is surprisingly popular in Eternal, with how weird of a concept it seems.
Well, it is interesting. I'm not a huge fan of it, but people seem to like Harshal, and all you have a lot of units that cost around the 4 to 6, even 7 range that kind of just can take over boards by themselves. So Harshal and then play a follow-up threat such as a Millie or Island is a decent way for Harshal that you don't really lose that much value if you have to kill some of your own units, but
And one of the things about this deck that Cross is on is that he has no ways to reactivate those birds. Once they lose the
oh,
Aegis, they're dead blockers. Really. Just O5s.
it is interesting. I feel like they could have played maybe some mirror images, but this deck seems odd to have Harshals and the Finest Hours, and also like Strategizes and Wisdom. So it's kind of just a mix of just Cross wanting to have just any Aegis unit, and then just they kind of found some spells to play with them. It seems like since every unit has Aegis in the deck.
That would be correct. Even the merchants, because didn't have merchant. Gone so far as to run Mistveil Drake. I'm still not hyper convinced by that card. It's been seeing some more play, and I mean, giving yourself an Aegis is nice and all, but 3/3 for 7, really bad. A 6/6 flying Aegis for 7, still only decent.
True, it does some nice things. We saw early on people playing around with the set 3, or no, it was one of the adventures with the 2/2 that gets +5 or +3/+3 if you have face Aegis. So it also blocks teacher. So if you draw it like on turn 0, turn 1 or 2.
Yeah,
So it's a
yeah,
free way to just kind
actually,
of block.
as a way of blocking the disciplinary weights from teacher, that might be the reason why it's been seen some play. You make a good point there.
Ooh, here's the Phoenixton's favorite card, Vision of Austerity.
I just heard a growl from our producer.
Our producer wanted to join us for a second to vent their frustration at this wonderfully designed card.
Hey, how do you feel about Shush?
It's fine. It hits units.
I Relic Shush seems fine to me.
But yeah, so the far is now without Chalice, I believe, was the hit. It looks like Amber Ring is still there, which makes sense.
That is correct.
And we have a tributed Marley, which that's surprisingly been more difficult to achieve than I think people first thought. And people just forget that it has a tribute ability.
It's also good without the tribute ability. It's
That's true.
still a 4/4 Aegis for 4 that allows you to make deputies every turn for 3.
Well, it looks like Safar is choosing to shoot the sheriff this time.
So she doesn't need. So Safar doesn't need to shoot the deputies.
Correct.
And look at that! Cross just arch ruled a board with 2 units in play, and Safar is using guard tower to break Aegises, which is something it does do.
And the slow clock begins.
Yes, that is a somewhat slow clock, but at least it's sped up by the additional explorers each turn.
That's
And
true.
this is an explorer too. Huh.
So Safar's just playing Explorer Tribal. Needs more dinosaurs then.
Yeah, it's not running any dairies and instead going for camels.
Well, as we learned earlier, camels beat dinosaurs.
Yeah. Camels caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, of course. Mammals are superior to reptiles!
But then why did Jesus choose to ride a dinosaur and not a camel? No, not familiar with that one.
I am not familiar with that rendition of.
Not familiar with Dino riding Jesus? Need to educate him. Chat, educate this man on his memes. Or weird jokes, whatever you want to call them.
Mimetic humor? Island's
Hey, look at
choice?
this channel, the Tempest.
Is Island's choice.
Yeah, Cross could have waited till they drew another power because they had Unseal. That's probably reasonable since Safar's deck doesn't put much pressure on you very quickly.
Safar does have access to Passage of Aeons in the market, which means if we see a merchant, we can see Chalice being reactivated.
That's true. And Cross drawing cards that are not very good here. I imagine this merchant may get a sweeper.
That's not
Or
a sweeper.
no, Cross doesn't have one in the market. Just gonna get the blade.
Actually, there is one in the market, but
Oh,
that
there is
was
now?
put there because Cross used a Genève merchant to get something else.
I believe that was they got the Vision of Austerity.
That probably feels pretty bad at this point, having that Herschel in the market.
I mean, normally beat Chalice by sweeping their board. So
Yeah, especially not when they have this Amber Ring in play.
yeah. Safar's on the death by 1,000 cuts plan. I like it. Just the slowest of torture.
There's not even any torches here, though.
We're not burning people, Cygnus. We're just torturing them.
Oh, torture, not torch.
Yes.
I see. Oh, you know what's gonna happen after this attack? Okay, Cross
End of
is
the
just
story?
taking it. Cross just took it so as to not end of the story, which means Safar uses the tower
Oh.
to break the Aegis and now plays into the story, which can be negated because it did not have tribute active. Cross soul read that play to save his sheriff. And Safar, of course, did not have the power to kill Marley there.
Oh, but I think Safar is content to either chump block this Marley for a bunch or to Islands choice it.
Yeah, I suspect this coming turn will result in Marley's death to the island's choice. Safar did it. He hit face with guard tower.
But then Cross immediately drew Aegis.
Well, that Aegis isn't going to affect Marley, who isn't even going to attack here because there's 2 Amber Acolytes and no longer enough power for Finest Hour. Power Hour?
Hour of power. But the Fine Star isn't needed really, so. Here we're just going to see some more deputies come down.
Marley definitely does deal with opponents 1/1s if she's not dealt with.
Oh, here's another end of the story. Yeah, Safar's just going to ace space.
As you do, and this time Cross decides that kind of have to take it. I mean,
You have to block.
either way, it would be killing off Marley, so all it's doing here is killing off Marley. Safar, of course, choosing to finish off the turn by playing with relics. Now, I feel that the correct play for Cross in these coming turns is just to Finest Hour that Explorer.
And take more damage?
Yeah, to end this game.
Eh. I think Safar would be happy with that, but I think Cross wants to win, so.
I'm unconvinced that he can.
But they can still fight the good fight. See, look at this. They get to kill a 2-1.
And go to 3.
Let's ignore that part.
Go to 2 even.
Yep, Safar can just play all the units out now. Doesn't play the Combra healer. I guess
That's
there are
what's
harsh rules,
called
so.
lethal on board.
It is. I would have liked Safar to go for the tower lethal. We need some fancy kills. But Safar's gonna take that match
the
2 games
fancy
to 1.
time.
And we're gonna take a brief break and be back for the last round.
Hello, everybody, and we're back, Cygnus and The Rock, with round 4 of the ECL Thursday event. Today, well, this round we're going to have Nishava versus Numbers. Now, this is actually a 1 and 2 match, but we're going to watch it rather than the 3 and 0 match between Safar and Houdini, because this is an important match for Numbers, more so than it is for either Safar or Houdini. Winning this tournament doesn't actually really matter to either of those players, who are well and truly locked for the Invitational already. Whereas a win here would dramatically boost Numbers' chances of staying in the top 16.
Yeah, currently Numbers is 1 point from the bubble, so a win here will definitely help them secure a invitational spot.
No,
And I think
Nisha
our undefeated match will take a while, so
and
it's a challenge.
Nishava is currently sitting on only a single invitational point. So the number of points that could be racked up here, plus partaking in the Casual Friday, will not wind up being enough to allow Nishava to make it into the top 16.
Yep.
Meaning Nishava here could be looking to Dream Crush Numbers to show that this Combre deck without any market can work.
Looks like players are ready, so we'll jump in the game here.
That
We
is
see a
correct.
turn 2 teacher for Nishava potentially.
And turn 2 Suffocate for Numbers. Turns out Suffocate pretty good against the teacher meta.
Yeah, I think Suffocate has actually been underplayed for a while. Like, it's a cheap spell that kills early units. Like, don't know what more you really want from the card, and sometimes you can snag late units from aggressive decks. So
Yeah, right now there's a lot of units that you're more than happy to kill with that. You've got teachers, you've got bullet shapers, you've got merchants. There's it's usually not going to be a blank.
Yeah, and we see most of early units actually are a mix of mono faction and multi faction. So that's where things like Annihilate and Render's Choice could just not hit the card they draw, whereas Suffocate kills pretty much every unit up until 3 cost, and you started to getting a couple things like Record Keeper. So Suffocate does a job that most people I think are in the market for, pun unintended. But people just, I don't know why people just haven't played it much. You saw it a lot in sideboards in formats past, but now no one really plays it at all.
Now, I want to say the text on Vanquisher's Blade that says cards can't leave the enemy void is really just trinket text. I
In most
mean,
matchups.
even here, where the Dawnwalker is now void bound, it's only void bound until the Valkyrie Enforcer dies, and since Numbers isn't going to have the influence to be getting the Dawnwalker back off of playing a Predatory Carnosaur here anyway, the play might just be Aurelian Merchant, grab something out of the market, plus Annihilate to kill that Valkyrie Enforcer, and Blade goes away.
Yep, so Dawnwalker back online. Number still doesn't have the 4th time influence for it just yet, but I imagine their deck is pretty well set up to find it.
If Numbers attacks here, they're going to lose the Aurelian Merchant.
I mean, it's for a finest hour, so.
Or Nishava will just take it. Okay.
Yeah, it's 1 damage. They're at 25. It's not the worst thing in the world.
I'd be interested in still getting that Merchant off the board for Numbers. Just do the power that it gives, but maybe that would be a misplay from me.
Not sure.
Ooh. Let's
Looks
see
like our
if
hand
Numbers-
cam might be bugged. Since it looks like this. There we go. Alright, so the Carnosaur got exchanged for Twin Brood Sauropods. There's a little lagging on my side or not. But Nishava's going to continue to let himself get hit by these Aurelian merchants. See if Numbers chooses to wait on the Sauropod for the time influence. I feel like you might as well just play one.
Yeah, Numbers still has 2 units in hand that can both return Dawnwalker, and just getting threats in play to reduce Nishava's length of time to be alive seems preferable.
If I was going to let Nishava eat this Sandstorm Titan, but we know there was a Dark Return, so.
Now that Sandstorm Titan's a 7/8, and the killer
With a
is
new killer.
refreshed.
Yeah. Likely just going to kill this Copper Hall Elite. Well, they play the other Titan.
Playing the other Titan does make sense here, as if you play out Sandstorm Titan with killer this turn, the other one does get to hit in, but like also you could have played it out last turn and killed the elite anyway, and then
Yeah, maybe you're just asking for Nishava to draw a pump spell or a moose or something, so.
It would be attacking in as a bigger unit this turn, like the 7-4 attacking rather than the, or 7-8 attacking rather than the 5-6. Either way, it looks
Nishava
like
flooded out.
Yeah, the flood there. That's one of the things that merchants can help with. If you're flooding out, you can put your power into the market and get some units or weapons instead.
Sounds like a combo.
I mean,
it's a nice thing to have. Is that better?
yes.
We do see the Twin Brood partially as a synergy of the market, so. Since apparently I did learn that actually Echo is sometimes a draw, sometimes not. Kind of odd.
Wait, what?
I've heard rumors that like teacher interaction with an Echo unit is different than Crown of Possibilities, but I've not tested this myself.
Oh, so like
Something with the weights affecting it as being different draws and things, but I'm not totally positive. That's what I've heard from rumors in the bushes, but we'll jump back into this game. Looks like we might have a spectator bug here. Now we see numbers with a pretty good hand here.
Yeah, he's on the draw, so the turn 2 Teacher of Humility is less fantastic than if it were on the play, but it's very possible that Suffocate on turn 4 is going to allow that Teacher to get through. And whoa, actually, my bad. It's not even a turn 2 Teacher of Humility. There's 2 Seed of Mystery and a Temple Standard in hand. We see that Neshava chose not to play the Teacher, and Numbers did. But Coastal Battle Mage is definitely a good blocker for Teacher, but it's not even going to be there to block. Instead, it's going to be Railgun's Disciple, which can also be a perfectly fine blocker when you look at those finest hours in Nishava's hand. But
Yep.
Nishava might actually just take it and be aggressive with this Spell's hand, which is going to do
I mean
a
that is
lot
where
of
Disciple shines, so
damage, yeah. It's important for Numbers to have that Dawnwalker in play as a blocker.
yeah, especially recurring Dawnwalker now. Nishava is kind of in a pickle of how to attack here, since the Dawnwalker is going to eat or can chump block any unit and will eat a pump spell, which is huge for these spells matters units that we see. Interesting line here. We'll see if Nishava puts the finest hour into this as well. It does get you get attack for 8 damage. So, oh, he's just gonna go.
Yeah, yeah. You
Is that
put the
lethal?
no, it's not lethal. It's 20 damage though, pretty close to it.
Hey, you're at 2.
Showing that even with the nerfs to cards like Accelerated Evolution, these
I mean, double
Blitz
damage
style
adds
decks
up
can
real fast.
still do massive damage like that.
Yep, I think Nishava's playing just as another 2-drop unit, since I don't believe they are playing Alessis. Yeah, no Alessis, so I just want another like aggressive slanted 2-drop, and it plays well with all of the spells that you have, so.
However, Carnosaur gets to eat that boy that can get big.
Yep, and now he sees the weakness of not having like accelerated evolutions or levitates or any other flying effects, is that the Disciple got or couldn't attack because of Assassin, and then Numbers drew a power to play Carnosaur.
Yeah, sometimes you can deal 23 damage, then your opponent gains 1 life back and has stabilized. Now, the Hazoric Interrogators are probably not going to get played, and one's probably being sent to the market right now because Numbers does have to be wary of their own life total at this point.
Yes, they're very low. So we see another Carnosaur picked up.
2 more teachers. So much knowledge being thrown around here.
I don't think much is gonna be learned though, because these teachers are probably just gonna be on blocking duty, on hall monitor
Yeah, I guess that would be hall monitor.
or bathroom duty, I guess.
Yeah, usually hall monitors are students, right?
True.
Nishava considered an attack there, but realized that wait, no, all this would do was result
Go
in
poorly for me.
all of my units dying and my opponent taking no damage.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a good line.
The question though is if there are any good lines for Nishava at this point.
Not sure. They don't have any way to give evasion, correct? And yeah, Numbers has just too many units now.
Yeah, I don't believe that they do. And with this Orc Interrogator play, there's plenty of blockers for the 3 remaining units for Nishava.
Yep, Nishava needed Numbers to not have another unit there and to top deck a. They top decked a Vanquish,
It
but that does
can
not do
kill the
enough.
Orc Interrogator, but that's still not enough. There's the perfect 3 blockers left for Numbers to survive this turn and be able to win on the crackback. And the person taking this is the one who took the weights earlier on.
Yep, I don't know how much the weights mattered, so.
Congratulations to Numbers for this match win, and with it, that extra invitational point that should dramatically, if not 100%, increase the chances of Numbers to be locked.
It certainly helps their position.
Yeah, I think Numbers is totally locked at this point.
We shall see. Likely going to jump into another match. But we will take a brief pause. Everyone's done? Let's do that.
All right, we're back here with Cross versus Sono. It turns out Safar lost to Houdini, meaning Houdini is tonight's tournament winner with that Combre aggro deck. But for now, we're going to focus in on a matchup that has all 5 of the factions in Eternal in play.
Great, everyone's equal. We're not sure what game this is.
It's Eternal.
What game in the match?
The match is entirely Eternal.
Yes, but we see Cross with lots of Age units. It looks like Ages got popped before these Misfell Drakes could come into play. So they were, all, as you said, 3/3s for 7, which is not great.
We also see Cross at 5. We're going to not even see a Harshwell here. Instead, just fly out the Feast Caller and Deputy as blockers. I mean, there is good reason for that, as those 2/3/3 flyers plus the Finest Tower are lethal, and Sono
We'll see if
obviously
Sono
didn't
finds
see
a torch, though.
Obviously did not find a torch off this
No.
quarry, otherwise it would have happened a lot faster.
There is an Annihilate. Does that prevent lethal, though?
No, it does not allow lethal in any way.
Well, it doesn't prevent.
Also does not prevent lethal.
So, yeah, because Sono can block 2 units, but then there's an Annihilate plus Torch, a Flyer, but then still going to get killed by the other ones, and they scoop it up.
We will find out if that was the end of the match or what. If it was, that would mean that this concludes our tournament.
So yeah, and with that, there's only going to be one more point on the line. So players kind of on the cusp here. We will see. Currently, it's a 10 point is a clean cut. We have a couple players such as Prometheus and Eclipser that could play tomorrow. Oh no, Eclipser. Okay, so we don't have the extra participation point in yet.
That's
So
correct. The
Eclipser, we'll
points.
have a current tie for 16th place with
I think.
Bassoon Buffoon, Crack Variety, and Eclipser.
I think Eclipser should be further than that. I don't believe Eclipser's gotten either of the 2 points that they earned today, unless I'm
Okay, so that's the
wrong.
last match with Cross taking it. But no, standings are up to date with everything except for participation points currently. They update automatically after every round.
Oh, well then.
So it's exciting for us to see all the points live. So yeah,
Yeah,
currently we'll have a three-way tie for 16th place at 10 points. Still
with
have
Bassoon
Prometheus is also at 9. They could play tomorrow and get another 10 points. But other than that, we have most of our current top 16 invitational players. So I'm just going to run some of those down for everyone at home.
Yeah. Sono is in first place with 45 points. Cross in second with 42. Dr. Pringles taking third. Isaac-Ron on fourth. Safar at fifth. Bruised by God holding down sixth. Second Blue, he's 1 point ahead of, or no, 3 points ahead of Kalos, who is tied with Jez for eighth and ninth.
Yep, and then we have Houdini coming in, followed by Croge, Solar Flare, Numbers, which you all just saw. We have Mulligan, Bassoon Buffoon, Crack Variety, and then tied for 16th with Crack Variety and Bassoon will likely be Eclipser after this event, assuming all of the points are correct. So probably we'll start sending out the invitations to those players to find out if they would like to accept or decline, and then move down the list from there.
Yes, there is a world where players who are locked for the Invitational or could be playing in the Invitational choose not to. Maybe they're some buffoon who has to go play their bassoon or something. We're going to make sure that the Invitational still is a 16-player event, and we'll go down the list to find our 16 players, even if it's not the top 16 points holders. But we
Yeah.
also want to thank everybody for playing in this tournament and helping, even just watching it helps us out doing that. All of our supporters through Matcherino, especially those who have spent their own money on that. Katsugomu, Rechef, Duncan Wren, Irikyoto, Croge, Flying Finn, Sillyhead Pantsman, and Gaga Hacks.
Yeah, thank you everyone for support and everyone just tuning in and hanging out with us.
So, I think that's pretty much all for tonight. We hope to see you guys on Friday for The Rock and our wonderful producer today and tournament organizer, Phoenixton and Cygnus, and we're signing off.